Welcome to BizMode, the podcast where we break down real business models behind everyday success stories.
Today's episode dives into one of the most iconic names in global retail, IKEA.
We'll explore the strategies, psychology, and the engine behind IKEA's success, from flat packs to global dominance.
How did a Swedish furniture brand become a worldwide household name while keeping prices low and value high?
You know what's mind-blowing? A simple idea about affordable furniture that started in a tiny Swedish village has grown into a company that now owns more American forests than any furniture maker in history. Let's unpack how that happened.
That's such an interesting way to look at it, from Swedish village to global forests. And there's this fascinating story of innovation behind it all.
It really started with Ingvar Kamprad's radical vision in the 1940s. He wanted to democratize good design, make attractive furniture that regular people could actually afford. But what's remarkable is how methodically they executed that vision.
Tell me more about how they actually pulled that off, because making quality furniture affordable seems like quite the challenge.
Well, they developed this incredibly sophisticated system of KPIs, tracking everything from costs to sustainability. But the real game changer was the flat pack system, which, fun fact, came from watching an employee remove a table's legs just to fit it in their car.
Hmm. So a random moment of practical problem solving turned into their whole business model?
Exactly right. And it completely transformed their operations. They now work with over 1,000 suppliers across 50 plus countries, all built around this flat pack concept. And here's what's fascinating. They don't just chase the lowest prices, they build long-term partnerships, even buying their own forests to secure materials.
That level of vertical integration is pretty unusual in retail, isn't it?
Oh, you know what's even more unusual? Their store design psychology. Everything, and I mean everything, is intentional. The winding path, the restaurant placement, even the exit through the warehouse. It's all designed to maximize what they call dwell time.
Speaking of psychology, I've heard about something called the IKEA Effect. What's that all about?
That's one of my favorite aspects. Research shows people value products more when they partially create them. So all that time spent with Allen wrenches, it actually makes customers more emotionally invested in their purchases. Their satisfaction rates are 23% higher for self-assembled items.
Well, that explains a lot about my emotional attachment to my Billy bookcase.
And here's where it gets really interesting. They've had to adapt this whole model for different cultures. In India, they developed harder mattresses based on local preferences. In China, they completely redesigned showrooms for tiny apartments. Their market research shows that Chinese customers spend an average of 3.5 hours in store compared to 2.1 hours in Europe.
How do they maintain their identity while making all these adaptations?
That's where their company culture comes in. They have these core values, resourcefulness, togetherness, humility, that guide everything. Their employee turnover is just 6% compared to the retail industry average of 15%. They've even created this concept called leadership by all that empowers employees to make decisions.
So, how are they handling all the recent challenges, like automation and sustainability?
Instead of just replacing workers with automation, they're focusing on retraining. They've invested over $2 billion in employee development programs. On the sustainability front, they're aiming to be climate positive by 2030, using renewable materials in 60% of their products already.
That's quite a balancing act, managing growth while staying true to their values.
You know what's really telling? Their sales have grown by an average of 7% annually for the past decade, even while implementing these sustainability initiatives. They're proving you can maintain profitability while pursuing social responsibilities.
So, what do you think the future holds for them?
They're at this fascinating crossroads. They're experimenting with AR and VR for furniture placement, pushing hard into e-commerce, and still expanding into huge markets like India and China. But perhaps their biggest challenge is maintaining that delicate balance between growth and their core mission of making good design accessible to everyone.
That's quite a legacy from that small Swedish village.
Indeed, and it really shows how a clear vision, consistently executed over decades, can transform not just a company, but how we think about our homes and how we live in them. From that first flat pack table to virtual reality furniture placement, they've never stopped innovating while keeping their original mission intact. And that wraps up today's deep dive into IKEA's business model, a masterclass in cost leadership, customer psychology, and global scalability.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow BizMode on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another story behind the strategy. Until then, stay curious and stay in BizMode.